Okay, can you hear me? Did you hear that, Terry? Okay. I have them all muted.
Where's the coffee?
Hey, Whitney, can you hear me? Okay,
You know, close it
Good.
down.
okay, good.
He calls me all the time. He just
Yep,
keeps
thank you.
calling.
Bye. Avanti, yep. Whitney Ridlon, Betsy Olavanti for the broadband. And when they talk, they'll pop up big. And then Bhupesh Patni and Brian Lindsay, our attorneys. I have them all muted right now. They can hear us, but we can't hear them. As soon as they go to talk, they'll pop up big. There's a delay, yeah.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council special meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. It's 9:10 a.m. Today's date is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. We are having this meeting to the general public and anyone want to listen in on Zoom. We have some councilors present as we conduct this special meeting. We will be going to closed session and the last item of the meeting in some negotiations for some property located in Virginia. So everybody I think is present here, but I'm going to have Pam take the roll call for this special meeting. Pam?
Baraboo,
Present.
Here.
Paulson. Here. Beyondich.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Marinzelli.
Here.
Cuffey.
Here, thank you. Also, by Zoom, we have some presenters today. We have Whitney Ridlon from the IRRB, Bhupesh Patni and Brian Lindsay, our city attorneys from the Trenti law firm, and then Betsy Olavanti with respect to the broadband. Welcome all of you who are on Zoom today. And we'll begin this meeting, and I'll turn the agenda items over to our city administrator. And welcome back, Britt.
Thank you.
Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
The first item on the agenda is the approved recommendation for award of the RFP for the Blondin Broadband Feasibility Study, and we have Whitney Ridlon and Betsy Olavanti on Zoom. And remember, there is a delay, so they're going to be a little bit late hearing us speak. I don't know who wants to go first, Betsy or Whitney.
Betsy? Good morning.
Good morning.
What do we have?
Do you want me to provide a review or do you just want to answer questions?
Probably an overview, Whitney, would probably be good.
All right. Well, good morning, Honorable Mayor and Council members. Today I'm here to provide an overview of the Laurentian Tower E-Study. The communities were awarded a grant in October of 2019 by the Blondin Foundation. Since October, have been working together to raise funding of over $58,000. This includes
Whitney, we got an error message on you, Whitney, that your broadband is low, and I guess this is a good example of what we need the study for.
I'm finding that everywhere, Britt.
I don't know, I popped out and popped back.
There we go. We got you back.
Sorry. I haven't had trouble yet with Zoom, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, and it just says, I got a little message above you saying W. Ridlon's network bandwidth is low.
I know we shut all of our internet off so that. Betsy, do you want to do the overview?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
You just sent that yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I don't have more time than we need to make sure that the information that they need. Okay, so the committee, like she said, was awarded feasibility study grant dollars.
Lost you, Betsy. We're having technical difficulties too, Betsy. Really, like I said, really good example of why we need this.
It truly is. Let me know when you're ready for me to talk again.
I think we can hear you again.
Okay. All right, perfect. So, started working then as a committee. We finalized the RFP in December of 2019 and released it in January. We met to review all the questions from the consultants at the end. They're looking over the proposal and submitting proposals at the end of January. And the committee reviewed them and interviewed 5 consultants in February. We selected consultants Neo Partners and Neo Connect at a committee of the whole meeting for our broadband feasibility study on February 24th. March 17th is when we were planning to present to you to get approval of the contract for consultants. So that's the process that through.
Lost you again, Betsy.
I'll chime in if I may. So, go ahead. Okay, still having some technical difficulties. Just to expedite this a little bit, in our packet, we have the information, and based upon Whitney and Betsy's recommendation, your committee, or which you're on the committee of the recommendations, what is the recommendation of the committee with respect to the broadband feasibility study and the resolution to issue the contract?
The recommendation of the committee that we approve the contract with both NeoConnect and what's the other one's name? NeoConnect and I can't hear you, Betsy. I'm sorry.
Has everybody on the council have an opportunity to review the contract that was in your packet? We do have a recommendation from committee, and so these recommendations for 2 contracts that are requested to be ordered, as we are the fiscal agent for these as well.
This is why they're coming to us. We are the fiscal agent for this program, so we received the Blandin grant. We will then invoice all the other partner cities and townships and school districts that are involved for the remaining match of the fund for the Blandin. So because we're the fiscal agent, we have to approve the grant.
Okay.
And you have our list, correct? Rick?
Correct, we do have your list, yes,
Perfect. Of people that funded.
correct.
And we're a partner as well in our $25,000 allocation from the city of Virginia, correct?
Correct.
So if it's all right with Betsy and Whitney, the recommendation is to approve the contracts, both these contracts. Can we do this all at one, or do we need a individual resolution for each one?
Want it separated, Whitney or Betsy?
Well, we can't hear them, so let's do it separately. So does any counselor have a question or comment or concern before we move forward with the recommendations as laid out by the committee? Counselor Johnson?
The NeoConnect consulting agreement is the first one.
NeoConnect
Consulting agreement.
consulting agreement. Counselor Johnson?
And I think this is exactly what the technical difficulties we're having is exactly what folks experienced yesterday as their students were trying to get online, as well as parents working from home, as well as college students working from home. So I think this is a perfect opportunity, and I'll make the motion for the contract with NeoConnect.
For consulting services. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Bearable, moved by Counselor Johnson, supported by Counselor Bearable to approve the contract with NeoConnect for consulting services. Is there any further discussion?
I just have one question.
Counselor Bearable?
Mayor, the splitting up the cost of this, Britt, has already been taken care of. So we just will receive the money from the other entities that are involved.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. I hope you heard that, Whitney and Betsy.
And the second contract is the design study service agreement with Neo Partners, and that's in the amount of up to $17,000.
And that's that $17,000 was spread throughout.
Same thing, yep.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I'll move the contract with Neo Partners LLC for $17,000.
Moved by Counselor Bearable to approve the NEO contract for $17,000. Is there support?
All support, Mayor.
Support by Counselor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, motion carries. Betsy, Whitney, did you get all that?
Thank you, guys.
We're good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for the inconvenience there.
Next item on the agenda is adopt a resolution declaring a resolution to conducting meetings by telephone or other electronic means.
This is a formal motion we have to make so that we can conduct our meetings. Other than in person, we can do it electronically. Motion by Counselor Beyondich to approve that. Thank you. And support by? Counselor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is approve the proposed agreement with Essentia Health for an off-site care facility, and that would be for the use of the miners building in the case of an overflow at the hospital.
Chief, we have Chief Alan Luce in the audience. He is our emergency manager director as approved by the mayor and council. You want to give us a little update, Chief, on this request or this communication or this coordination and cooperation with the Essentia with respect to this pandemic? Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good morning. I'll just speak very, very briefly about the request that's before you today. This would be for an overflow capacity for the Essentia facility. It's in line with what the rest of the state is doing as far as planning for a potential overflow when the surge gets here in a number of weeks. So this, by having this agreement, would allow the CMS, Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, waived a number of requirements. Prior services had to be administered in the hospital, be billed for it. Now they've waived those requirements for off-site facilities. So there is a compensatory mechanism for hospitals to recoup expenditures that they do in these places. So that's ease the financial side of these things. So they just need a plan, and it is not being used at the moment. I would recommend that the council go ahead and approve this agreement.
And thank you, Chief. If you could just briefly elaborate on the precautionary measures that are taken in the event that we have to use the miners.
So in the event that the miners would be used, it's a very, very likely that there would be a number of other assets that would come in with that, whether that would be through military, reserve medical corps, or others. But obviously, they don't have the staff to staff both facilities, so there would be ancillary staffing solutions that would come in with that. That answer that question?
It does, Chief, and that includes equipment and other necessary mechanisms to contain the environment.
Correct. It would be an entire support package that would come with it: heating, ventilation, APUs.
Thank you, Chief, very much. Okay, we're looking for a motion to approve that agreement with Essentia to provide the miners as a secondary facility if necessary.
Move to approve.
Moved by Councilor Paulson to approve and supported by Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the Essentia Health proposal. This portion of the meeting may be closed as per Minnesota Statute 13D05 Subdivision 3.
Okay, I would look for a motion for the council to recess the council meeting and to move into closed session to discuss the negotiations with Essentia Health. Moved by Councilor Bonzelli to close, supported by Councilor Freelieb. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thanks, Chief. Okay, the meeting is now closed, and we'll turn on the recorder. Okay, we are on, Pam? Yep. Thank you very much. Okay, we are now in closed session, and we are recording in accordance with data practices, and the law requires us for the open meeting issue.